In this video, I'm going to show you how to build your own storage console with a bank of drawers and adjustable shelving. My teenage daughter's been asking for more storage in her bathroom, but we really needed a custom solution because of the odd shape of the room and the specific dimensions. I'm working off of my work table. I'm going to put it together with a Kreg jig. So what I'm doing is kind of drilling the pocket holes as I go. The top I laid down face down and then drilled 3 pocket holes on each of the 2 sides, and I'm going to attach it with the pocket holes on the inside. The one thing to think about is orientating the finished front edges of the plywood to the front. If you're cutting your own plywood for this project, you're going to need to edge band the front edges to finish them. If you order from Shelf Help, it'll come with the edges pre-finished. And then you don't have to use a tape measure for a lot of this project because, like, I know those center dividers are kind of going to set the height for where I'm going to attach the bottom. So I just set the bottom on top of those center dividers, attach the bottom, and then I use the shelves to pull the dividers into the middle and then just attach the dividers that way. And then I'm going to flip this project over and start working on some finishing the attaching of the dividers, and I'm going to start working on some of the supports. So when you have just like a plywood carcass like this, you need something to give it some lateral support so it doesn't shift from side to side. So I'm using these 1x3 base supports that I just pocket hole on the top and the 2 sides, and that'll give it some structure. These match the length of the shelves, so I can just go off of my diagrams and know what those shelf lengths are and then cut the base supports to match. I want to do an inset bottom base support, so there's a little bit of a toe kick. So if you stand next to the project when you're done, you'll have some room. So I attached a 1x board inset there on the bottom. Now I'm going to start working on the drawers. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pencil out where I want all the drawers first. One thing I'm going to do is use standard 1x6s for the drawer faces. So I'm going to put some 1x2 spacers and go between the drawers and space it out every 5 3/4 inch, because you got a 5.5 inch drawer face and then you want an 1/8 inch gap on the top and the bottom, so that equals 5 3/4 inch. And then there's a bigger gap on the bottom, and I'm just going to basically make a drawer face to fit whatever that is. So that'll be a large bottom drawer, and I'll just cut that drawer face to fit. At least 3 of my drawers are going to be, the faces are going to be certain in size and I don't have to rip them. All right, so now I'm going to start the process of attaching the drawer slides. And I use this unique method that I've come up with over a decade of installing drawer slides. And basically I just draw lines that are perpendicular to the front edge of the cabinet where I want the center of the drawer slide, and I attach the cabinet member of the drawer slide to the cabinet on the line so that the screws are centered on the line. Notice I'm also setting the drawer slides back about 7/8 of an inch. That's because I'm going to have inset drawer faces. So I'm using a 14-inch drawer slide on this 15 1/4 inch plywood rib. I just go ahead and install those. I always use gravity to my advantage like this, so it's real easy just to set it there and then screw right into the line. Now I'm going to work on the sides of the drawer box. So I'm going to cut 1x boards, and in this case they're 1x4s, to the same length as my drawer slide. So I'm using a 14-inch drawer slide. I cut the drawer sides 14 inches long. And then I'm just going to figure where I want that drawer slide to sit on it and attach the the drawer member of the drawer slide to the drawer side. I'm so glad you guys can see this in video, because it really makes sense when you see it happening, but it's very hard to explain because of all the individual parts sound so much like each other. So I get all of my drawer sides installed on the drawer slides and put them in place. And from there I can just measure in between the 2 drawer sides and cut the front and the back of my drawer. So there's no math involved in this method. If you use a different size material for your drawer boxes, it all works out still. And it's like a no guess, no math way of doing this where your drawers slide perfectly on the very first time. So drawers used to be my nemesis because they would take so long and it'd be so frustrating. I felt like it was a guessing game, trying to get it right and then building the box and hoping it fits. This way, no shimming, no adjusting, works perfect on the first time. So from there, I just attached the bottoms onto my drawer boxes. I'm just gluing and using brad nails to attach it. Of course, there's better ways of doing this. If you can, router it into the bottom, that would be better, but we're not expecting heavy loads in these drawers, and this method is quick, it's easy, and it's fine for this purpose. Okay, so now for the faces. So we've planned for 1x6s to fit right in between those 1x2s with an 1/8 inch gap all around. And notice how they're slightly inset about 1/8 of an inch. This gives us some forgiveness and makes it look really professional. And you just nailed those on, and then I took some 3/4 inch plywood and made the final bottom drawer face to fit. Okay, so now the shelves, I want those to be adjustable, and I'm kind of envisioning like baskets or towels to be on them. So I'm using this Craig shelf pin jig. I've had this tool for about 10 years. It is the only tool you need for this job. And I'm just setting it up on a block that's consistent and drilling those shelf pin holes out. Took me just a couple of minutes to do that. One thing though is I may want to add a door later on that's inset. So I'm going to take 1 inch off the back of my shelves with a circular saw. And then we just went outside and primed and painted it with a sprayer and then let it dry and then brought it back in. I'm going to put the hardware on. The hardware really made a difference. This cabinet is so simple. Having these more bulkier knobs really helped dress it up and just made it look like a beautiful piece. The project's all done and we've moved it into the bathroom, and it's changed the whole functionality of it. It's added some counter space up top. It's added some open shelving for things like folded towels, some decorative baskets. But the best part is definitely the bank of drawers, because it's very accessible. It keeps things organized, and this is a permanent solution for storing smaller items. So we're really thrilled with how it turns out. I hope that you use this method. It took me seriously 10 years to come up with it. This is the first try. I never adjusted any of these drawers. I put them in and they slid perfectly on the first try without me doing any math. This is the method to use. So I'll leave a link in the description to a free template that you can use to design your own similar piece like this. And we'll have a new video out next week. So make sure you take a second to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.